What am I? Welcome to the Maxim Institute podcast. My name is Marianne Spurtle. I'm one of the researchers here at Maxim Institute, and this is our weekly short-form podcast. These podcasts are released in tandem with our weekly column and are a chance for you to hear in depth from the column's author about some of the thinking that went into producing their final piece. Today we're talking to Maxim Communications Manager Jason Heale about his recent column. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Marianne.
Now, education has been on our radar for a number of reasons, and you've been writing about overcoming barriers specifically for boys in the educational system.
Yes.
What are the barriers that you've identified?
Well, it all kind of came about because there was this study that was released that showed that boys do really well in single-sex or boys-only schools, that they attain higher achievement for university entrance and things like that. And it kind of got me thinking about what is it that causes that. And so what I came across was actually a really interesting quote by Christina Hoff Sommers, who has written quite extensively on the subject of boys' education. And she said that schools, as they've become more, she says, feeling-centered, risk-averse, competition-free and sedentary, that they're actually far less engaging for boys in general. Obviously, we're talking generalities here, not specifics. And then boys who tend to enjoy the more active side of things get punished for being boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they don't enjoy school, and then they do worse in school, and they get pressure put on them, and it's kind of this self-perpetuating cycle in many ways, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. One of the links that you have there goes to a poll. It says, of more than 800 men looking at the impact of male primary teachers in boys' development, it found that more than a third, 35%, felt that having a male primary teacher challenged them to work harder at school. And it also talks about them being more approachable for boys, more likely to approach a male teacher about bullying. So, yeah, that goes along with what you've been saying about there are different needs that boys have.
Yeah, that's
such as
right.
having maybe higher standards for them.
Yeah,
being harder on them even.
I think about when I was a young boy at school, the subject that I hated most was maths. It was the worst. But the subject that I did the best in when I was in fourth form, what's that? That's year 10? Is that year 10 now? Fourth form?
I'm the wrong person
when
to
I
ask.
was 14. Yeah, I know. We all grew up through the forms. I think it was year 10. So when I was 14, that was the year I did the best, and the best subject I had was maths because I had a teacher that pushed me and was like, no, you can do this. Have you done your homework? You are better than this. You know, gave me discipline, right?
Yeah.
And pushed me, and he held me to a high standard. And it was the best year. I remember coming away going, man, maths isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But then I had a terrible teacher the next year, and it all went downhill. But, you know, it's that difference of approach.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously not knocking female teachers, but looking into schools in New Zealand, because I've seen looking into the ones that have a 50-50 male-female ratio for teachers, or ones approaching that, they tend to be the ones that have diminished the gap between achievement in boys and girls.
Yeah. Interesting that, isn't it?
It is. So it does back up all of that. As somebody who is male, we've got the issue that fewer men are likely to become teachers. They're less likely to stay in the field. My dad's one of them. And in New Zealand, there's only one male teacher for every 3 female teachers in schools. Yeah. So, you know, that's just a problem in supply. As a man, what do you think would make teaching a more attractive vocation for guys who are obviously going elsewhere and might not have enjoyed school themselves when they were boys?
Yeah, some of the things that I think might help to get males in there and to help offer positive male role models for young men. As you say, young men find it easier to talk to male teachers, and it's more natural, less intimidating, I think, is to offer, maybe expand some of the physical educational subjects to include things that aren't just athletics or some of the normal sports, but maybe things like martial arts or other dance opportunities or other things that will get boys moving and get them kind of and something that's exciting for men. Like, I think about how many men at the moment talk about jiu-jitsu or that sort of thing. That's something that men really enjoy, that kind of, if we had a jiu-jitsu program as a PE program, that could work. I think as well, the material subjects like metalwork, woodwork, even mechanics, stuff like that, that men, boys tend to like doing stuff. And actually work out their emotional issues physically as well. I had a friend who was a counselor, and he used to, when he was at an all-boys school, and when the boys would come to him, he would take them for a walk to do, so they call it walk and talk therapy, and the boys really responded well to that, and he was really almost overloaded with boys wanting to come and see him. Right. So I think things like that, bringing back some of the tangible, what do we want to say, tactile subjects, as well as more of the energetic subjects.
So you're talking about offering those in schools, not just to get boys more engaged, but to attract male teachers who will want to teach those subjects.
Yeah, like being able to impart some sort of knowledge that you might have about woodworking, about using planes and chisels and varnishes, and being able to... I think boys enjoy having accomplished something physical that they can show, look at this is something that I've constructed. And for men, being able to show boys how to do that is really satisfying. Yeah.
And there's an argument to be made for subjects that aren't being emphasized, but actually in the real world there's a shortage of, trades and other things. Yeah.
Carpentry, plumbing, gas fitting.
Being more aware that not everybody goes to school to go to university to get a better, there are different pathways, and they should possibly be started earlier on in school.
Yeah. It's a way for some young men to find their passion that may take them around the world. I mean, some of those skills you can take anywhere, as a plumber or a carpenter.
That's just what we need, more people leaving New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right. That's a whole other project. Podcast,
Yes, that's really great. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And now let's hear from Jason as he reads his column.
Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world." There is broad agreement that education is the cornerstone of progress and success. However, as we strive to create a level playing field where everyone can thrive, we must address the unique challenges boys face in our education system. We know boys are falling behind girls in reading, writing, and maths. Only 30% of boys leave with university entrance, and they are less represented at university, about 2 men for every 3 women. To enhance the outcomes for our boys, it is necessary to re-examine our current methods and consider innovative approaches. By addressing specific needs and providing tailored solutions, we can ensure boys thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. Boys perform better in single-sex schools. Does this mean we should segregate education? Not necessarily. We can do several things across all schools to ensure that boys are thriving alongside girls. American philosopher Christina Hoff Sommers has written that our schools have become more feeling-centered, risk-averse, competition-free, and sedentary, making them far less engaging for boys and increasing the likelihood of disruptive behavior. Let's incorporate hands-on activities, practical projects, real-world applications, and some risks that can harness their natural curiosity and promote critical thinking. Recognizing and supporting boys' natural desire for physical activity is important. We shouldn't dismiss or criticize hormonal changes they experience during their teenage years, but instead find positive outlets for their energy. Expanding physical education programs to offer a variety of activities, including team sports, martial arts, and dance, can be very beneficial. These activities promote physical health and teach important skills like teamwork, self-discipline, and self-esteem. Additionally, offering these programs can help attract more male teachers to schools. The absence of male teachers is a problem. We know male role models in education can positively impact boys' development. Currently, only 1 in 4 teachers in our country are male. We must actively recruit and support male teachers as they can offer guidance, understanding, and relatability, positively influencing boys' academic and personal growth. Boys typically express their emotions in a practical manner. This is often seen as a lack of emotional intelligence and limited self-expression. Amid crises, this is a good thing. Long term, we need to provide them with tools to process these emotions fully. Schools must consider ways for boys to explore and understand their emotions. Implementing techniques like action release, suppression delayed reaction, or displacement objectification can equip boys with the necessary tools to navigate their emotional landscape and build healthier relationships. In the hands of our children rests the future of our country. It is troubling that many boys are leaving school without qualifications, as this could pose severe economic implications for our nation in the coming years. Economist Cameron Bagri has highlighted the real-world consequences of this trend and emphasized the need for immediate action. It is, therefore, essential to equip all of our students with the necessary skills and education to become future leaders. Thanks for listening to the Maxim Institute podcast. If you'd like to hear more from us and keep up with the rest of our research and analysis of politics and policy in New Zealand, you can sign up on the homepage of our website to get our monthly forum email and invitations to future Maxim Institute events. You can search and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. From the team at Maxim, mā te wā. Goodbye for now.